I had this one man who was like my U-turn for like 10 years.
What's a U-turn? Basically dating your past. What's going on? You already know the vibes. It's Rico Hundo here, H-E-R-E. Salute to everybody that's been supporting us. Keep on liking and subscribing. Let's talk about what we're gonna talk about. U-turns. What's a U-turn? Basically dating your past.
Yeah, because I think about U-turn as in like making a U-turn in the car.
Yeah. Yeah, well, basically it's kind of what you're doing, right? You're going to back to the past.
Life.
Yeah. Now, I'm not gonna lie, like, all right, have I ever did a U-turn? Yes. I've done a U-turn 2019. And it was a pit stop U-turn though. It wasn't like I was pulling into the driveway again. It was a, oh, hey, how you doing? Bye.
Stopping for gas?
Yeah, stopping for gas.
Stop
exactly,
for gas.
I had to stop for gas. So basically, I ran into her at this like local bar, and it was funny because I didn't even want to go. Then I'm drinking and she's drinking. But like the thing is, the trap with the U-turn is it only is the ones that you really kind of fuck with, but y'all just not together for whatever reason, right? So I fuck with her heavy and she fuck with me heavy, but we're just not together, haven't been together for like 5-6 years. And we just kicking it off and we drinking, and then next thing you know, I'm at a hotel swiping my card, like, yeah, like she my dude, you know? So after that, I never spoke to her again. Like, she went about her way, I went about my way. And I was like, damn, like, did she fuck me or did I fuck her? Like, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I know, we both know that it doesn't work. So for me, I would never make a U-turn and stay there at that destination. I'm not a believer in going back to the past. Even though I've had some great relationships, they failed for me in my life. They failed because we just weren't compatible enough, you know? So what is
I'm curious to know though, but that U-turn, what caused that U-turn? Because I've definitely experienced a U-turn in my younger years. I'm in a relationship now, so I don't do any U-turns currently. But in my younger years, I definitely did. And I feel like whenever I did a U-turn, it was because the sex was amazing. The sex was so good that it was just like, okay, I'm going back to that.
Yeah.
Because at that moment, I didn't have anybody that I was with, and I was single, and I was horny, and that's who I went to, because that's how I know would give it to me the best way I could get it. So when you did your U-turn, was it because of sex? Is it sex-driven that causes us to make that U-turn?
All right, so let's really, first and foremost, the sex was amazing when I was with her, right? She was the best girl to ever ride me. So when I ran into her again, I just started seeing, I'm like, damn, like that shit was popping, but that shit was a minute ago. Let me see if it was really popping. You know, I got a couple.
If it's still good.
Well, I wanted to see, because
Was it really good? Was I drunk?
I have had new goods.
Was it just a good night?
I wanted to see if she could compare with the new goods that I had since we haven't been together, you know?
Makes sense.
Plus, she challenged me, and that's how she knew how to get me. She was like, you know what she told me? She's like, I'm getting my body done in 3 weeks. I'm gonna fuck you, and once I fuck you, I'm gonna get my body done, I'm gonna get famous on Instagram, and I'm never gonna talk to you. I said, oh, I said, cool, let's try this.
She sounds like a demon,
yeah,
for sure.
So, but she was just mad, whatever. So I let her fuck me, you know what I'm saying? So we fucked that night. So I feel like the sex was popping, plus she challenged me. That's the only reason why I really, really made the U-turn. Because I probably had, you know, I got options.
I can honestly say I made a U-turn, but it was for the simple fact that, you know, again, as women, you don't want to add bodies. So sometimes you're like, let me try to see if, you know, that situation, maybe we can pick up where we left off. But, you know, I was in a situation where we were truly in love. And then, I don't know, just certain circumstances came in our relationship and made us break up. But, you know, in the back of my mind, I always thought, I think we're probably going to end up together. So, you know, I always thought like, all right, you know, eventually when I'm ready, I'm going to go back to this person and he'll be there and we'll probably just make it work. And it just didn't happen that way. And I was just like, damn, it's not the same excitement that it was when we were younger, the same passion, the same, you know, fun. Like it just was different. It wasn't the sex. It was just, I was going back because it was like, I knew that me and that person had real chemistry. We were best friends. We were lovers. We went through, you know, ups and downs together. When we were both broke to when we both had it, you know, we just thought that maybe it could work the second time around, but it just didn't happen that way. So
I must say, I made a couple U-turns, but I'm gonna have to say my first U-turn I definitely made for that same reason, because I felt like we maybe were gonna be together. Like, we just weren't together at the time, but this was someone I dated for like 3 years, and I thought for sure like I wanted to call it quits and never speak to this man again. But I was like, but you know what? This probably is the person I'm supposed to end up with, and I cut ties. And I was like, maybe I should double back. Let me see if he still want me. And he did, and I felt like at that point, we were kind of using each other for sex, because since I cut ties with him, I wasn't fucking nobody. And then once I got horny, I'm like, okay, well, who am I fuck? Like, he still be hitting me like to try to fuck. So I'm like, you know what, whatever. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna fuck, and I'm gonna see if, you know, this is gonna be anything more than a fuck. But it never is not worth it to double back. Like,
I definitely understand the body count thing, you know, because that's one of the reasons why I've definitely made a U-turn. But I think what I can sit here and think back most on is like I had this one man who was like my U-turn for like 10 years. Literally.
Damn.
Like yeah, exactly. He was a U-turn that I just kept on getting stuck on. But I think that when I sit here now and I reminisce that situation, I think the reason why I kept on making that U-turn, it did have to do with the sex, because like I mentioned, like sex was great, but it was more so like the comfortability. Yeah. You know, like the comfortability, knowing that he's gonna accept me no matter what. You know, no matter the situation, whether I'm with the man currently or not with the man currently, he's gonna accept me. You know, he's gonna accept me if I haven't spoken to him in a whole year or 2 years or whatever the time being. He's always gonna want me. Even right now, honestly, that man, that 10-year man that I did that U-turn with, if I call him right now, I haven't spoken to him in years. If I call him right now, he probably accept me. He probably accept me in a heartbeat.
And as a woman, I just feel like, you know, our clock is always, we feel like it's ticking in a way. So it's like, all right, find a man, have kids, get married, you know, that those types of things are always on our mind. So when you have someone that you think is no matter what is gonna probably do that for you, you're just like, all right, he's in my corner, you know, let me go see what this other shit about, but if it don't work out, I'm gonna just double back, you know. Sometimes it is that comfortability, and it's wrong to say that, but I felt like that person was gonna be there no matter what.
Man, I just feel that I can never go back to a U-turn because they're there for a reason. And if I couldn't figure it out with you in that moment, then we should have never split up or whatever it is. If I had the thought, you know what, I might have to come back to that.
So you really never made a U-turn?
Never made a U-turn, and I don't plan on doing it. However, you know, things happen in the future, whatever, you want to work it out with that person. But I've always been a big person on like, just making sure, like, if we're gonna stick to something, we're gonna commit to something, know that, you know what I'm saying, it's gonna rain, there's gonna be some arguments, there's gonna be fights, disagreements, but let's see it through. I'm not trying to like be with you and be like, you know what, I might use her as a U-turn later on. I just don't feel like that makes any sense for me.
Well, the reason is, I'll give you something that, you know, 80% of women file for divorce. Like, it sounds like isn't relative to our topic, but it does, because women have a habit of leaving men. Men don't typically leave women. So I feel like it's because, especially when we're young, right? I feel like women leave men, and then women try to make U-turns because if they're comfortable with that man, you know, and all the reason that you guys say. Like, I'm like him, I don't really make U-turns. If like the one U-turn that I did make, it was so like completely spontaneous, and it was literally short-lived. For me, like, I can only speak for my life, right? Every time, as my life has gone over in the course of the last 10 years, I've personally been elevating. You know what I'm saying? So the type of women and the status of the women that I've been dealing with has been elevating. So for me to really double back, and there's no shade to my exes, they're great people, you know, but I feel like now I'm in a position to get a better woman that fits, you know, my life and my lifestyle. Because as I was getting into the industry and as I was doing all these things, they were never comfortable with that because they just wanted to, you know what I'm saying?
It's a standard that we set for ourselves, I feel, as men. At least I do, and like hearing from what you just said, I think it's all about leveling up, as you mentioned. Like, you don't want to level up and then, you know what, let me try to go back down to this level. And it's like you said, it's no shade to nobody in the past. It's just standards that we just set for ourselves.
Yeah, but speaking of levels, there's different levels to U-turns. Like, Dion, are you currently single or you're in a relationship?
I'm in a relationship right now.
So you are in a relationship, okay. So prior to this relationship, because that's what I'm saying, there's levels to U-turning. Like, if you're a single person and you're just dating and just having sex openly, like you're U-turning because you're not in a relationship with anybody and you're dating this person and you're gonna go back and constantly see them for sex or whatever pleasures. You understand? So
No. What?
yeah, that's
No.
what do you mean?
He just said. Don't try to put words in his
He's not
mouth.
passing
He
it.
never said he was gonna do that. I'm telling that he's making a
The
U-turn.
past is the past. I feel it's just we set standards, and it's like there's a reason why they over there now, and this is why I'm here, and this is why I'm gonna keep elevating.
I do want to say that not all past relationships end like horribly. So it's not like, you know, the worst thing to make a U-turn, because I did, you know, have an entanglement. Like he was like, yeah, it wasn't a relationship, but you know, he was a cool dude. Like we vibed like OD, but we kind of lost touch like along the way. So I decided to double back. I'm like, I wonder what's up with him. Like, what's he doing? Let me see if I could, you know, let's get back to where, you know, we were. And it goes cool for a minute until we drop off again. And that literally keeps happening. Like that was one person I kept doubling back to.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
that goes to show you were never meant in the first place.
exactly.
Might just be fun.
Which is why I feel like anytime I've ever doubled back, made a U-turn, it was never worth it, because my initial mindset into why I stopped messing with that person was for the reason that it was.
I know 2 females, and they're older, and I'm really cool with them. Like they're like my friends, but we're not like friends. You know what I'm saying? And because one of them was telling me like, I think I'm just a hopeless romantic, and I don't know, nothing's out here for me. This dating, I hate dating, and da da da. And I'm hearing her go on, and she says, you know, I think I might just go back with the guy that I was with when I was 25. And I was like, how do you get to that point? Like, for me, and like I said, no shade, for me to live my life and to have trial and error and losses and dating and in relationships and say, fuck it, I'ma just go back and settle. Like, you know you're not gonna be happy more likely than not. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't but I don't agree with people trying to do U-turns for a cop-out.
I just feel like in that moment, like speaking of that story, like I just put myself in her shoes and I just feel like if she's reaching out to that person that she dated when she was 25, it's because whatever she was feeling at that moment, she liked the way she was feeling. Like that man was treating her a certain way that she hasn't been getting since then. And
she needed that, she desired
exactly.
that.
And being a hopeless romantic, that's something that I am. I feel like I truly am that. That's why I can never be a single person. It's very rare that I find myself single. I think the longest I've been single is like 3 months, since I was like 16 years old.
That's crazy.
And I'm 31.
So you double back all the time.
I like to feel loved. I like to feel needed. I like to feel desired. And because of that, if you're not finding that person that's giving you what you need, you tend to be like, fuck it, I'm gonna just settle for this person because they were giving me what I needed at that time. But then it hits you because look at what Amanda said. Then you sit there and like, damn, this is why we broke up in the first place. Right. This was what I needed, but at the same time, he still has this flaw. So
are you basically trying to tell me that there are women, such as you and Amanda, that don't know what you have?
That's a great way to put it. That's what it seems like.
I don't know if it's that, because what do you mean? Like, I know what I have.
But
like,
if you knew what you have, then you wouldn't have to double back to it.
But that's what I'm saying. I did when I was younger. Now, look, I'm with a man that is brand new to me. It took a while for me to get there, honestly, because for a woman to feel comfortable allowing brand new love into your life all the time, you have to be strong and confident in what you have.
Cool.
And if you're not, you're fearful of that. And that's why you keep going back. That's why you keep making those U-turns, because you're fearful and you don't want to deal with getting to know someone again and falling in love and possibly being hurt again. You're just doubling back.